It's been a long delayed while, but I finally went out to go see Finding Dory, and I was going into this movie expecting to watch something simply enjoyable, and that's exactly what I got. Dory, reprised by Ellen DeGeneres, gets a flashback that reminds her of her family, her mother and father that she had forgotten due to her short-term memory loss. She uses key moments in her past that work as a formula to help her find her way back home, and it leads her to the Marine Life Institute that takes care of fish. The movie seems like it's going to be another movie that Pixar has been recently dishing out, but this one actually turned out to be alright. I don't think I loved it as much as everyone else did, but I did enjoy it. It's a lovely film for anyone who wants to entertain their kids, but do not want to sit through a dumb movie. Pixar has been doing a lot better ever since their animation team developed Inside Out, and although I haven't seen that movie, give me a fucking break. I donated blood just to go see the big fucking giant. I did hear that it had a lot of emotional moments Pixar is famous for. While I wouldn't say Finding Nemo is an example of a Pixar film I think about when I think of the best Pixar films, it still had the heart that I look forward for in the movies, and that heart is in this movie. However, I do feel like it had a few problems though. The story itself is pretty much a clever reverse of the Finding Nemo story. Instead of a parent trying to find the child, it's the child trying to find the parent. At first it seems like it's going to be a travel across the ocean kind of movie like the first one was, but it actually does something different this time. The Marine Life Institute is really where the movie shines, and the setting is the best because it gives the audience something different. And instead of reviving old characters from the old film to just bring in here and say, hey, these people exist, remember? They provide new ones for the main character to meet. Marlin and Nemo are in this movie, but they are not the main focus. They are to assist Dory, the true main character, and that is one of the things Pixar is great at. Even with a sequel, Pixar is going to make something new, fun, and creative. The animation itself is rather good, and with the update of their animation, it looks magnificent but not too off-putting from the original movie that was released 13 years ago. There is really nothing much to say for the animation, mostly because it's exactly what I expected. It had a realistic touch to it, but it also had a cartoon-like appearance. If I had one problem with the film's animation, it's that Marlin looked extremely distracting. Not the character itself, but the animation for him, mostly notable in the face. I almost never could get past the fact that he looks a bit different than the original one did, and he and Nemo were now a different shade of orange that I never got to see. Maybe it wouldn't be so distracting if they animated him like that in the last film, and come to think of it, Dory's dad did have a disturbing forehead. It felt like it was gonna fall on top of me. Pixar has been known to deliver some really powerful imagery, story, and heart, making them one of the best audience grabbers. While Finding Nemo did have an emotional tug, I never really felt it was one of their more artistic films. Pixar's artistic films tend to be ones like Toy Story, WALL-E, Up, and Inside Out, mostly for their deeper meanings and morals. Finding Nemo and this movie, for that example, don't fall into this category and instead are just family-friendly entertainment. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that my favorite Pixar films are always going to be more deeper than a heartthrob. Finding Dory doesn't seem like it's going to be anyone's favorite Pixar film, but it's going to be far from their worst. Or maybe due to calculations it might be close to their worst due to how great Pixar is. Pixar has a big reputation, so when I don't think of this film, it's not because it's bad, but more because it's not artistic or magnificent as the rest of Pixar's films. I did have an emotional connection to the characters, hard to believe, right? Just not as strong as the rest of their other characters that they have created. There were moments in this film that I can only describe as, did anyone read that and think, yeah, it'll work? To note some on the top of my head, nobody questioned the baby carriage moving by itself, or playing A Wonderful World in the most orchestrated film. It's a bunch of small moments that don't seem to be too distracting to me, so with that said, there are noticeable problems, but nothing bad about the film. I kept questioning myself if it was better than Finding Nemo, and my answer to that is a very close almost. There is nothing wrong with this film that would keep me from recommending it to anyone watching, but note that it's not going to be the crowning jewel of Pixar's empire. I'm gonna give this film an A-.